Yes.
Right.
So
right. But there's stuff like that all the time. It's gotten to the point now where whenever you read the title of legislation, whatever you think it means, it's almost guaranteed to be the perfect opposite.
Right. No, yeah,
I know, I wish I had a list of examples, but right.
So you're talking, I mean, we were talking about Obama's executive gun control, but apparently CBS has got the scoop, and Obama's goes off in the article about, he goes back to Sandy Hook, revisits that, and then starts to go through the litany of things that he wants to keep on your mind. He wants to revisit this thing on your mind. They definitely want guns out of the hands of people. I mean, law-abiding citizens. I mean, that's just it.
Right. And it's so hard for a cynical person like myself to sit there and think that it's only for safety. That it seems like it must be. And here's my right-wing nut job coming out of me, that they want to disarm us for other reasons than that we might hurt ourselves.
Right. Hey, speaking of that,
then that really leads to. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say. Speaking of that, last week we talked about an article where out of Texas, the state of Texas, January 1st, makes it law that if you have if you have a gun and it's open, visible to the public, you have to have a permit, just like you have to have a permit for a concealed gun. That is true.
Okay.
That is true. However, the article says that they currently weren't allowing people to do that. Walk around with your gun on your hip. There's a small town in...
there's a lot of places that didn't allow that, which I thought was kind of strange. You know, let's talk about the philosophy behind concealed or open carry. They're literally saying that it doesn't matter whether you're armed or not. We don't care whether you're armed or not, because if we did, then saying that if you're going to carry it must be concealed doesn't make any sense at all.
Right.
Because if it was about if thinking that possessing a gun was going to make the world less safe, then you wouldn't want to conceal. Now, the open versus concealed is how are you less safe if it's visible? All it is less of an insight of fear in somebody that might see it. I don't know. The whole thing is just silly.
Yeah, if you walk past a liberal or a Democrat or something, they might start having heart palpitations if they see that you have a...
Well, we had this conversation a long time ago. Remember a conversation that we had before the radio show, probably about maybe a year or two before, where I said that we should do by the way, copyright Smith Radio,
yes,
for those of you listening. We should do a skit where a guy is driving by a gun store, and just the mere sight of guns in the window, or maybe an image on the sign of a gun, causes the guy to start to hear voices in his head. And the voices in his head, in his mind, are coming directly from the guns, and they're whispering, "Come and get me." And then once you get it, you're like, that literally talks to the guy, You gotta shoot me.
You gotta use it.
You have to pull the trigger.
Right. So beginning,
and it's like all this subliminal stuff.
Right. So January 1st, police in California may confiscate firearms from legal gun owners thought to be a danger to themselves or others without giving any notice to the owner.
Well, I think that there should be a proper way to do this. I don't know what your thoughts are on this, Brian, but I think that things started going downhill in America when we allowed liberals to tell us that it's inhumane to have insane asylums at all in any way, shape, or form, and that these people should just be left to their own devices in the street. I mean, there's people that are just really, if they're not safe, they might be able to be productive citizens. They might be able to, conduct themselves safely for the rest of their lives, possibly. But if your own family and friends or colleagues can all agree that it's probably safer to go ahead and put you in a little bit of assisted living, and because you're just, I mean, seriously, I'm not talking about a large percentage of people at all. We're talking about how many mass shootings are there in America out of 330 odd million
it's minimal. It's minimal. It's so small. It's so small. The number is so small.
It's like the most. Can we not have an insane asylum for at least that type of person?
Right.
And by the way, most of these people, when they finally get to talking to the family members of these killers,
they knew they was crazy.
Yeah, they knew it was going to happen.
I was just wondering when. So check this out. According to KPCC out of Los Angeles, according to them, this could be issued without prior knowledge of the person. In other words, a judge could issue the order without ever hearing from the person in question if there are reasonable grounds to believe the person may be a threat based on accounts from family and police or whatever. The department assistant chief, his name's Michael Moore. Yeah, go figure. He does not use the word confiscate when talking about confiscating firearms. Rather, Michael Moore says, the law gives us a vehicle to cause the person to surrender their weapons, to have a timeout, if you will.
What? Oh my God! He's like literally treating them like children, and not only that, but so he's saying that we're not going to confiscate it. What we're going to do is we're going to use the law to intimidate the crap out of this guy so bad that he's going to say, maybe I should voluntarily relinquish my right to bear this arm.
Right.
Isn't that what he just said? That sounds like exactly what he said.
Well, I mean, I know somebody, and Carrie, you know this person. They have an issue with their neighbor. Okay? It's like an ongoing feud. Feud. What if one neighbor calls the cops and says, man, my neighbor's unstable. I see him prancing up and down the street with a shotgun. I mean, it could be a lie. You could be making it up. Or
just make up whatever. He's in his underwear prancing up and down the street in his underwear and with a shotgun or whatever.
Right. Or maybe that neighbor does carry a gun, and he gets it on video, and he says, "Looks, cops, looks, he's open carrying here." And the other day he had a shotgun, but my camera wasn't working that day.
Oh, the circular logic of he's carrying a weapon out in the open. Clearly, that is evidence that he's insane, which means you need to confiscate that weapon. That's called circular logic right there.
Right, of course. So, I mean, can you see that? Wow.
I was just going to say, you're obviously alluding to a slippery slope here where, I think that there's a way that you could do it so that it's got some checks and balances. Like, for instance, no one person should be able to single-handedly commit somebody else. And I think that there needs to be...
If somebody knows, if somebody's brother is a cop, he tells his brother, the cop says, oh, yeah, we're going to get this one. That's all he's got to do. The judge will sign it right off. Doesn't even need anything. It's a new law.
Right, and of course I don't agree with that. That's beyond a slippery slope. I mean, you're really you're sowing the seeds of direct tyranny here.
Yes, no, absolutely.
But I think that if you had the combined testimony of family members, friends, and maybe some authority figure like a cop, and that all together, put together, could be decided by the judge. Well, seems like very diverse people in his community, a very diverse group of people in his community, all unanimously agree that this guy might be a safety hazard by possessing a weapon because of his mental instability. Then I'm actually for that. I just think it has to have a way to prevent the slippery slope of tyranny.
Yeah, but you know what happened to this whole thing? That there's the slippery slope. That's the slope going down it by making this law. And even no matter how you craft it, no matter how you word it, no matter how you craft it, there is no way that you could craft it correctly so that liberals and Democrats won't use this as a vehicle to move to the next step. This is just a step to the next step.
But you're talking about this specific law. I actually agree with you and disagree with the law, but I'm saying that there should be something different but similar.
No. I disagree.
So you're saying that there should not be any insane asylums?
No, there shouldn't be a law stating that if a guy is sane or insane due to X, Y, and Z, if a guy is committed, that's one thing. If he's committed to a sane asylum, that's one thing. If he's accused that he should be committed, now we got problems. I'm cool with the sane asylum.
So
I'm cool with the sane asylum.
He has to be
just don't
committed at some point.
Yeah, if a person is committed, then his guns would be at his house, at his crib. So,
and that's what I mean. I mean, this person has to be committed.
Okay.
We're talking about two different things.
Okay.
You're talking about doing the procedure to get him disarmed.
Right.
I'm talking procedure to get this freaking person committed.
Okay. No. Okay. All right. We're on the same page. We're on the same page then.
Yeah, that's what needs to happen.
Real quick, there's breaking news: Cruz may drop out to become Trump's VP.
I don't buy this.
Hold on. The top line of the article says, "Warning: this is pure speculation based on lots of articles and meetings between Trump and Cruz. Not only that, but Cruz has support, but not enough to win."
Okay, here's the problem. The problem is that Cruz can only improve his situation with full, number one, win-it-all presidency.
Right.
If not, he's taking a big step backwards in power. Not only, I'm not talking about for himself, I'm talking about for his movement, for the Tea Party and for libertarian conservatives, all that kind of stuff.
You would never drop out, though. If you didn't win the nomination, then maybe okay, you're brought up. Like Bush Sr.
Oh, no. I'm saying you drop out. You don't. Let's say you decide, okay, this is not happening. I'm not going to be the next president.
25 seconds.
I'm going to go ahead and concede. Okay, I'm going to concede. No, you stay in the Senate because he has power there. You don't drop out of that so that you can become the VP, because the VP is just a guy that stands around waiting for the president to die.
Well, you know, Uncle Joe. What's Uncle Joe done in 8 years?
He's pointless.
What's he done in 8 years?
He doesn't even have the power to do anything.
What has he done in 8 years?
So the bottom line is, the moral of the story is, Cruz, not only is Cruz not going to be a VP, but he shouldn't be. We want him to stay in the Senate if he can't be president.
Right. All right, folks. Thank you for listening again tonight. This is the fastest 3 hours I have in my entire life. Love it every time we do it. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. All right, Carrie.
See you guys. Yep.
with unfathomable power.
What kind of power?
Unfathomable. It's without fathom.